Well, hello there everyone! Spectrobes was one of those game series that played a major part in my childhood. Those of us that had access to Disney Channel likely remember the ads ad nauseum if you were growing up between 2007 and 2009. Beyond the Portals and Origins were some of my favorite video games from my childhood that I hold extremely fond memories of and have put hundreds of hours into. The first game, on the other hand, well, it was also fun, but I don't have quite the same level of nostalgia for it. But today we're here to talk about the bosses, and they... Well, are you familiar with the Potential Man meme? Yeah, the bosses in this game are cool on paper, but not very good in execution, and I think it'd be interesting to see just how badly they screwed up when we cover them, and also how the sequels improved upon these fights. But for now, we have the garbage heap to dive into, so let's, well, dive on in. Number 8, Skessa. Ah! You thought it was gonna be Trunkos. Ah, shame on you. No, this boss fight is worse. Considerably worse. Skessa is a sentient drill that moves around the perimeter of the arena, but instead of piercing the heavens, he just pierces your sanity. And he also fights along with 2 butt munches before stopping for a second to do a team attack. The idea is actually alright on paper, having a boss coordinate attacks with his backup to, well, attack you, but it's always the exact same attack where he will stop, turn inwards towards the arena, and charge straight ahead. And his body is a hitbox when he's circling the arena, so the only good strategy is to repeatedly charge and then spam team attacks, which hit every enemy on the screen for guaranteed damage. It's slow, it's tedious, it's not fun, and the boss isn't even threatening as he does 1 whole damage to you. How terrifying. When it gets down to just him, he's now able to charge without warning or wind up at all, but he also gains a new attack where he turns into a sentient Beyblade, which is just more of the same since it's his body becoming a hitbox again, which it's already a hitbox for 95% of the battle. It's just a tedious and repetitive fight that isn't difficult, but it isn't fun either, and it's weird how this guy is less threatening than Gaforma, despite being fought a decent bit later in the game than the first boss was. I don't know. On one hand, at least it's not frustratingly difficult, but on the other hand, it's just obnoxious. This is one of the most irritating bosses I've faced in a video game. Number 7, Trunkos. Alright, for real this time, let's talk about Trunkos. He gets a higher because there are actual damage opportunities against this boss, and it isn't just spamming the same charge attack over and over again, on top of him actually having more than 2 attacks and them doing something different instead of just being essentially the same attack but reskin. Instead, he can do a long-range tentacle whip, he can shove his tentacles into the ground to create 4 lava pools as a bit of area denial, though really they don't last that long, so it's cool on paper, questionable in execution. And he can turn into a sentient Beyblade, yet unlike Skessa, who barely touches you, this man is hitting you like a moderately sized car, and he can do so up to 4 times with jack shit you can do in response since this game doesn't have a dodge option of any sort. And since he's at the end of Tabletop Mountain, a maligned level to put it nicely, it's going to be quite the endurance test to even get to him. He's not a very fun boss, and getting comboed from half health to death when he only has a single HP remaining, well, it definitely makes for some funny content, but man, was it frustrating to deal with. This boss is the reason I always go out of my way to do the Evolve Mineral Gauntlet, so I can just burst him down with Villainox, because no way in hell do I ever recommend fighting this boss fairly. And the reason we have to come here is because Cyrus is an extortionist, so you know what? Don't fight this boss fairly. Just do what the smart thing. We can just abuse slope detection and his poorly programmed spawn trigger to skip this boss fight entirely. Number 6, Thoraxa. Thoraxa is literally just an enemy spawner with boss music playing over it, and she does nothing on her own. She's a plot device and a cool connection to the game's final boss. The fact that an infinite enemy generator gets above Skessa and Trunkos really just goes to show how bad and obnoxious those 2 fights are. Moving on. Number 5, Carcassa. Carcassa almost had something going for him, with 2 bits that can fire out lightly homing projectiles or heal the boss in the center. Okay, so we're getting somewhere mechanically, this is a good start, the minions complement the boss, so what does Carcassa do? Did you say walk towards you very slowly and only have a single melee attack while having a health bar higher than any boss in the game outside of the final boss gauntlet? If so, congratulations, you've probably played this game before. Carcassa is a boss that's frustrating because he doesn't coordinate with his two supporters at all, and that brings down what could have been a pretty cool boss fight and makes something kinda mediocre. And hell, this boss is using a piece of the ancient starship as a weapon to beat you to death with. How do you just make that boring? Number 4, Ortoso. Over halfway through the list and we're still in mediocre tier, huh? Yeah, this game's bosses sure are something. Ortoso has a few gimmicks going for him. For one, he's immune to all damage sources when the fight begins, and the only way to render him vulnerable is to use the Geo on him. The only Geo you can obtain in the main story is Tindera, so I really hope you went out of your way to go to Genshi Lava Flows, or you were just straight up fucked. But okay, NES era bullshit, boss design aside, what else does he have? Well, he can create massive explosions, and his 2 bits stick to his arms, creating chain explosions afterwards with every step he takes, or in response to his explosions. On top of that, he has a strong melee attack that also results in an explosion. Okay, so this guy likes explosions, but he actually has a decent little moveset. So, what's the catch? This man is the slowest enemy in the entire game, only moving faster than Thraxa, who is a stationary target. Any cool ideas he may have are rendered irrelevant in the face of him moving slower than a state agency hiring office, and he flinches to everything, so despite being pretty high defense-wise, he's gonna get tossed around like a ragdoll regardless, and him moving at you at the speed of a snail isn't helping, especially when, unlike the snail who kills you when he touches you, this guy, he starts winding up an attack when he gets close to you. I swear, this entire game's boss roster really is the Potential Man meme. Number 3, Blova. This isn't really even a boss fight. It's just 3 upgraded versions of the tutorial enemy that you're required to defeat in order to progress the game, making it one of only 9 required battles in the entire game, now that I think about it. But the fact that you're not uberly powerful yet, and the 3 of them actually move at a decent speed while doing fair damage instead of only hitting you for 1 damage or chunking half your health with a single attack, means it's, honest to goodness, better balanced than 2/3 of this game's boss roster, and there is a little bit of fun to be had here. Number 2, Gaforma. The first true boss battle of the game takes place during the Crawl Invasion. We come across Gaforma and your first exposure to the Gigagorga class of Crawl. These giant beasts with a mutated design like him or Torso, and the game's final boss. Gaforma only has a single attack, at least in his first phase, where he'll perform a dash towards the player, but then he'll meander to get back between his 2 bits. But this is actually something interesting here because he coordinates with these 2 bits, as when he's returning, the bits will fire out triple projectiles and will heal him when he performs his dash attack to punish a lack of aggression. And when 1 bit goes down, the other bit gains much larger projectiles, doubling in size. We actually have some boss design here. And then, when it's down to just him, he actually gains a melee swiping attack he can perform if you're trying to hug him too closely to stop him from returning to his launching position. And then he has his charge again, which does high damage. It's simple, but as the first boss of the game, I actually see what they were going for. We have genuine boss design here, and it's honestly a shame that the first true boss of the game is also one of only 2 to actually have escalating difficulty implemented, while the others are just kind of punching bags you spam the same 2 or 3 attacks against. Number 1, Goblata. Well, I guess one interesting thing is this guy's name kind of sounds like gallbladder. I don't know, man. The final boss of this game may be at number 1, but he's not even truly clawing his way up into good tier. Yeah, I enjoy this game, but not for its bosses. Starting things off, though, I do actually like how this is the revived form of Ortoso. While you were killing Thraxa, she was able to reanimate its corpse enough to fight against you, and the stakes-wise, you've already won. The nest is destroyed, Thraxa is dead, the Crawl Invasion is done, Mido is collapsing, but this monster isn't going to let you walk out alive, So now it's time for you to put this beast out to pasture, and the arena also shows that the planet as a whole is dead. Plus, this is the one boss design in the game I think is genuinely really awesome. Most of the bosses in this game fit the whole evil space amoeba shtick the game was going for, but this boss actually kind of sells that what the Crawl are. An E10 version of what happens when the Flood and Tyranids have a disgusting night of passion. Anyways, this boss has the highest HP in the game, capped at 999, and he's got 3 phases all within his own health bar. Phase 1 is nothing major. He shoots his cannon at you, swipes his claws if you're too close, and walks menacingly towards you, which he doesn't do contact damage, so it's not that big of a deal. But once he hits 666 HP, he puts up a barrier, making him immune to all damage, so it's time to use your Geo once again in order to break his barrier. This will begin Phase 2 of the fight, where he gains a claw swipe attack that can now go twice, and it hits very hard. His cannon fires a triple shot instead of a single shot. He can compress space inside his spine mouth thing, allowing him to cause a massive AoE explosion, and while he's not fast by any means, he has the ability to leap towards you and close the distance. We actually have a boss that doesn't suffer from the problems that all the others do, where they're either too passive or a Beyblade. Honestly, I would put this boss fight in good tier for all this stuff, but the problem is, he has one last phase at the end of it. When he drops below 333 HP, he stops attacking you entirely and will only ever spam his healing move, where he regains 30 HP per second, and will continue to do this until he heals all the way back up to 999, or you stun him out of it. After being stunned, if he's above 333 HP, he'll go back to fighting in his Phase 2 moveset, but if he's below, he goes right back to spamming the healing move. It doesn't completely ruin the fight, but it makes a would-be intense in-game fight into a game of how long can I stun lock him. Now, I'm no professional game designer, my experience doesn't go beyond RPG Maker, but personally, what I would have done would make it where the shield activates at 1 HP instead of 666, so you have to use the Geo at the end of the fight, and when he's shielded, that would be the only time he goes for his healing move. Regardless of its shortcomings though, the final boss has more going for him than any other fight in the game. For the most part, it succeeds, even if the last phase causes it to fall ever so slightly short of being good. And that's all for this video. Honestly, as much as I love Spectrobes, the first game is by far the weakest entry in the series, feeling almost like a prologue to Beyond the Portals designed to introduce us to our main cast of characters. I do still find myself occasionally coming back to this game, however, because I actually like the cast of characters and the science fiction world of Spectrobes, even if Zeba makes no sense as a planet and Nox is arguably worse. That's an argument for another video. Is it worth playing this game today? Maybe. The game is short, taking me around 7.5 hours, but that also means it's long enough that you can't beat it in a single afternoon on an impulse download or impulse buy. I'm saving my full thoughts for this game for an upcoming retrospective video I'm making for it, and it's similar to something like Mega Man, where you gotta be in the right mindset to truly enjoy it. Anyways, that's all I've got for now. If you'd like to see more videos of varying quality, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.